In this video, my wife and I travel to Florida to launch the sailboat for the winter sailing season. The yard that I stored the boat at is about 1.5 miles from the yard that has the travel lift. This is the truck and trailer that's used to transport the boats between the two yards. As you can see right here, almost all the stands that support the boat have been removed. The boat is basically balancing with a little bit of support from the two side stands that they have temporarily put in place. I was surprised at how fast they trailered the boat down the road. We got up to about 25 miles an hour. Weird looking dolphin. I was a little rusty installing the front sail. I attempted it once before and realized that I didn't have the furling line wrapped up around the drum. So we got the sail down, furled the line on the drum, and here we are trying to get the front sail up in a little bit of wind. I got lucky here. I almost lost the GoPro overboard. The next morning we were on our way to Charlotte Harbor. We are on 8 miles of a freshwater canal that is separated from the harbor by a lock that we have to manually operate. This is the lock that we have to manually operate in order to get it to open and close. A small powerboat had just exited into the saltwater side, and we are waiting for the gates to close so that the lock can fill up with fresh water. There's only about a 2-foot difference between the saltwater side and the freshwater side. After leaving the lock, we passed through a narrow channel that was only about 5.5 feet deep.
Yeah, just so that they don't fall over and get stuck in the prow. Just need to get them tidied up a little bit.
We made it through the shallow channel and into Charlotte Harbor. It's also called Gasparilla Sound. We had strong winds on the nose and a building chop, and we're also pulling the dinghy. We were only making about 2.5 knots to 3 knots of headway. Here you can see the active captain overlay that shows the anchorage we're going to. We're at the top of Charlotte Harbor and have about 25 to 30 more miles to go. One of the things I do every 20 to 30 minutes is come down and check on the diesel. I go over all the belts, the hoses, the injectors, the fuel lines, the through hulls, and the new exhaust right there, checking for leaks. Another thing I'm checking for is the condition of the belts. Here you can see the prop shaft, the new stuffing box. I'm checking the temperature by just touching it to make sure that it's not too tight and creating a lot of friction heat. I'm also looking for any sort of vibrations. I'm also going to put my hand on the gearbox to see if that's heating up. Another item on my visual checklist is the new motor mounts. I want to make sure that everything stays tight. Once we got towards the bottom of Charlotte Harbor, we were able to make a turn towards the west. This allowed us to open up our front sail. We were able to motor sail at over 6 knots. We made it to the Pelican Bay anchorage around 3:30. This is the first time I got to use the new anchor. It's a Rockna 20 that weighs 44 pounds. In the next video, we'll be motor sailing down the intercoastal waterway to our next anchorage. It's off the island of Captiva. This is also where my wife has her first experience with running aground. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe.